Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you latecomers. It's Warren Connolly here, coming to you from a beautiful Santander in Hungary in Central Europe. Today on this healthierlife.tv podcast, talking part 2 today about unraveling the minefield that is nutrition. Myself and my co-host, Mr.
Paul Bursey from London in the UK.
Thanks for joining us, Paul.
I'm here every week.
And give me a shout if you want to see me.
So as you said, it's unraveling the nutrition minefield part 2. And look, last week we spoke about water-soluble vitamins, vitamin B, the vitamin B complex, which was 8 vitamins, and vitamin C. Today, we're going to talk about the other side, which is the fat-soluble vitamins and some of the minerals.
Not too much.
No. So basically, we're going to start off with vitamin A, and again, a very, very important vitamin. And so it's also known as retinol, and it plays a key role. And one of the key roles it plays in is with your vision. And without it, it's quite well known that you would be blind. You need it that much. Okay. So tell us something about vitamin A then, Warren, apart from that.
It's actually you're talking about eyesight. It's very good for helping with your vision in dim light, or in dark scenarios. So that's another factor to think about. With increasing likelihood of us not having power leading down the road, we may need that eyesight for the dark.
I'm going to go and get myself. I'm going to get myself one of these see in the dark things. The MV things. Night vision. So
the night vision goggles.
Yeah, I'm not going to go for lectures here. I'll go for the night vision goggles.
It also helps against infections against the immune system as well. So that's another important reason why vitamin A is important.
Yeah, and it's not a single compound either. It's a group of compounds that are known as retinoids. So and its most common dietary form is retinol, and that's where most people would see the name retinol. So it's is it rare in food?
Is it rare?
Yeah.
Well, it depends on how often you eat carrots.
Oh, that's one of them. Yeah. Well, yeah. In the Second World War, they used to say that, didn't they? They were, because they were short on food. They weren't so short on carrots, and they said it helps you see in the dark.
Yeah.
Well, they're not that far away, are they?
Well, that's. I mean, that was kind of like an old wives' tale, but then they had something in there, right? Because
it's not a old wives' tale. It's actually correct.
They had something. They knew something. We it took science to create that knowledge, and folks from the past, they knew that instinctively. I guess that's how they knew. I guess that's how they figured out how certain foods were good for you or not good for you. But look, vitamin A you can get from leafy green vegetables, your yellow vegetables like carrots, orange vegetables as well. And then on top of that, fish liver, eggs, and so forth. Dairy products too.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, with the vision maintenance, as we call it, it's also to do with the formation of tear fluid. So if you don't have vitamin A, you won't be able to cry.
Okay, I've known people before that couldn't create tears.
Yeah.
They didn't have the ability to create tears. I've met people before, more than one actually.
Yeah. No, but it is, as you mentioned, it is to do with light sensing. So very, 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 very important. And as I say, the immune function bit, if we don't have vitamin A, it's just another little chink in the armor that will allow infections to be more prevalent, I suppose. We'd be more susceptible to them. So, and the other thing is body growth. It's very important for cell growth in the body.
Okay.
So again, it's a very, very important vitamin, and especially for kids. Okay, because it may slow or prevent growth in children.
Well, if it influences cell growth, then that would common sense would make that true, right?
But it just doesn't end there. I mean, obviously, I've had a vitamin A deficiency in my life because the other thing is hair growth.
Yeah, but that's I think your hair growth thing, that's pressure, man. It's like always.
Yeah, too much stress. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
but it can lead to alopecia or just plain hair loss. Okay. So again, it's not the most important thing, but it is important, especially to ladies. So men can get away with it, but ladies can't. So. And I know it's an optic, but it's a very, very important optic to ladies. So,
yeah, it is.
The other thing is reproductive function was the last thing, and it's very, very important. It's vital for fetal development.
Okay.
So you can see. I mean, I never really thought about it before. I just used to think carrots and being able to see. That's all I used to think about. So, what was the other dietary ways we can get it?
As I said, liver, eggs, dairy products.
It seems like the percentages were much higher when we were talking about liver. They seem to be much higher than anything else.
In terms of vitamin A,
so in other words, if you were having heart liver and things like that, the percentages were much higher. You'd have to eat a lot more eggs, loads of eggs, in comparison to a bit of liver. So, but that was definitely one. And obviously another way we can get it is through beta carotenes, which
we're going to be talking about those next week.
Yeah, I know, but they're just found in vegetables. So again, it's very, very important. Now, a deficiency is very rare when we come to vitamin A. It does happen, but it doesn't happen very often. What about other foods high in beta carotene? I mean, if carrots come under that, and they say you mentioned dark leafy greens. If you did nothing but just eat those, you'd be fine. We will cover it in proper detail next week, but it's important that we know, just some of the things, so at least we won't starve on the way to wait for next week. So, what else can you tell us about vitamin A? Anything at all?
No, I think that's enough information for vitamin A for our average viewer to absorb right now. Yeah, I think it's obviously a very important vitamin for us to be consuming. So it's clear that it is clear. Eyesight clear, but I think for the average person, that's unless you got a real pearl of wisdom that you want to share with.
No, not really. No, mostly it relates to beta carotene. So,
okay.
But now we move on to vitamin D, very, very important vitamin known as the sunshine vitamin.
Yeah, it's what the skin produces when we are exposed to sunlight.
Absolutely. Yeah. And what's its beneficial effects?
It helps with things like bone deficiency or bone conditions.
Yeah, bone health. Yeah.
Like rickets, or osteomalacia. What else? So I think it's also just bone density, bone absorption, calcium absorption.
Yeah, that's right. It just helps. It works with some minerals to obviously stop fractures and stop, and just make your bones stronger. Really. And there are two main dietary forms, and we're only going to cover one.
And one other important factor in relation to vitamin D3, which Paul would this is one of the most important reasons why Paul takes it, is because of hair follicles. It influences the hair follicles.
Bloody,
So it actually helps.
if that's the case, then vitamin A and vitamin D are not working.
No, you're just keeping it away from us by keeping your hair shaved because you got used to it. But yeah, it also helps to keep your head full of hair. You know what I mean? So if you've got a head full of hair, it helps keep it even healthier and fuller.
So it's have a dig at me day.
I know.
Yeah, there's always plenty to fire at me anyway. I mean, look, there are two dietary forms. I'm going to cover one, which takes about a second, and then Warren's going to talk about the second one, right? D2. D2, yeah, you wanted to, you said it. So D2 is found in mushrooms and some plants. Okay, that's my bit finished. So what's the other one?
What? Yeah. I'm trying to think
D3.
of the one that
D3.
D3, yeah, D3, sorry. Yeah, I mean, that's what vitamin is, D2, D3. There's not much difference between the two of them, or it's vitamin D and D3. But I'm trying to think where the source is from, other than your skin from the sunlight.
Animal sources?
Yeah, I'm trying to think animal sources. I just can't think off the top of my head right now.
Okay.
I've completely gone blank.
Well, animal sourced foods, let's put it that way. So, but I mean, look, if you're taking a good quality balanced oil with omega-3, obviously that's huge. You know, that would take care of a lot of it. And eggs again. So, you know, with all these people moaning about eggs years ago, weren't they? They're saying, well, don't eat this part of the egg because it's not healthy. Well, I've got news for them. They're wrong.
Yeah, but that all comes from the yolk.
Absolutely.
I'm going to explain. I know I've explained this before as to why. If you think about it like this, it's the same like with our balance concept compared to other omega-3 products. Okay, is that ours has, and we've spoken about this. I'm going to just bring it up again as an example. Ours has the chaperone, which is antioxidant, which is naturally in the fish. Okay, so it's, you know, you have those antioxidants within the oil in the fish, so it's part of nature. That goes to say that you want those two together in order for it to work effectively. All right, and the same with egg yolk and egg white. If you're just drinking egg whites, or eating egg whites without the egg yolk, you're not enabling that bioavailability of that protein to be absorbed into your body efficiently enough, because it needs the egg yolk at the same time, and the egg yolk needs the egg white. And the reason being is because it's part of nature. It's a natural process, and there's a lot of good fats and vitamins and minerals in there, which eventually forms into a chicken. Think about it from that perspective. The protein is the food, you know, for the yolk. So if you put two and two together, why wouldn't you want to eat the two together? Just certain people need to limit how many eggs they eat based on their pre-existing health conditions. Maybe, you know, like me, I eat comfortably 3 eggs a day, no problem. Sometimes I eat more. Okay, so I used to eat loads of eggs before, but now I've boiled it down to 3.
You're starving now.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Oh dear. Yeah. So look, the bottom thing is, the bottom line with vitamin D. Yeah, we spoke about bone maintenance. Now, with the vitamin D, it works together with a couple of 2 or 3 minerals. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sorry, so I was reading a comment.
Oh no, that's okay. So
I was reading a comment, but I want to respond.
So, with bone maintenance, obviously vitamin D works very well with 2 or 3 different minerals.
Oh, calcium absorption you're talking about, for example.
Yeah, that's one. Do you know the other one?
And magnesium.
Okay, yeah, it works well with most of the minerals, but phosphorus is the other one, because both of those are important minerals for bone growth. It's all about bone growth, and what it does, it promotes the absorption of the minerals. So vitamin D helps absorb the minerals, and together they work in synergy, obviously, to help out bone growth. Okay. And the other thing, obviously, that vitamin D works with is calcium. So sometimes you get a supplement with calcium, CalMag, calcium magnesium.
CalMag, yeah.
So yeah, it's very, very important. They just work together and just makes everything work better. We try not to get too technical here, but they just work together, and you need them all.
Just work together.
Yeah, that's right. You need them all. So vitamin D3, right, which you get from sunlight and things like that. So that works much, much better than vitamin D2, which comes from mushrooms and plants.
And look, if you want to get sunlight, for vitamin D3 absorption, then just do when you can, as best that you can, around midday. Anywhere from say 11 o'clock in the morning till about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That's the best time to, if you're in the sun for 10, 15, 20 minutes, that's sufficient. You don't want to be roasting in the beginning if you're not used to being outdoors in the sun. But if you can do that regularly, then you're going to be getting your sufficient amounts of vitamin D3.
Yeah. I mean, there's no doubt that sunlight is the best. Your body produces all the vitamin D it needs, as long as it regularly has that exposure to the sun.
And at different times of the year, you have different needs. Your body has different needs.
The challenges with that is that we don't play the game. Yes, we might go out for a walk in the sun, but we don't expose enough skin. I used to go out. I did, I knew it, but you don't know. You forget about it, and you go out for a walk or go out for a run, and you might have a bobble hat on. That's no good. It's just, I mean, if you could go out just wearing a pair of shorts, that would be ideal. I know at different times of the year you can't do that. And at different times of the year, you get less sunlight. So, obviously you can use sunscreen, but sunscreen blocks vitamin D.
It does.
So, it's a balancing act.
Yeah, the sunscreen. The sunscreen blocks the rays that enable the skin to produce vitamin D, but it doesn't block certain other rays, which are also just as harmful, if not more, in terms of radiation exposure. So this is also why sunblocks are not really practical, really. You just put baby oil on you.
Yeah, a roast.
Yeah, I have an aunt. She used to do that. She used to lie in the 80s by the pool with the screen in front of her, like a tinfoil screen type of thing, with baby oil on her, and just roast.
I worked on this. That a little bit of everything is probably just about right.
Yeah, why not?
It's not going to be 100%. Nothing is 100%. You're never going to get the optimum level of anything. You can get close to it, I think, but you've got to use your brain. You've got to be aware of the sunlight. You've got to be aware and just be sensible of things.
Yeah, common sense.
Yeah,
but then again, that's very rare these days.
And also you've got a problem, isn't it? Because you can get it from fatty fish, vitamin D, because it comes from the algae and things like that. But the problem you have there is you would probably have to eat a lot. If you're talking about omega-3 balance and things like that, you would have to eat loads.
Yeah,
loads of fish.
You'd have to become a fish glutton.
Yeah. So it is about a mixture. You've got to look at it and say, well, there's 4 ways I can get this. So I'm going to have, I'll have a bit of that, bit of this.
And you can supplement it. Look, I mean, you can supplement it. This is why we do vitamin D testing, right? Because we know that during the year people need to supplement. They can't just get it from their food or the sun. They can't. So we're aware of that already. And this is why we're telling you this, because we know that there's a need for it. People need to have supplementation at different times of the year, especially in the Northern Hemisphere. Southern Hemisphere, they can kind of get away with it. I mean, in wintertime, where I grew up, if I wore a long sleeve top, it was cold. You know, even wintertime, I was walking around without a shirt on if I could. So it's different in the southern hemisphere, but northern hemisphere, there's definitely a need for supplementation of vitamin D. So start stocking up your vitamin D, your multivitamin. Or not. I wouldn't go as far as saying multivitamins because most of them just don't have enough. The multivitamins, most of them. So ours does. But if you otherwise, you get yourself a nice vitamin D3 supplement, and make sure you're stocked up for the winter time.
Yeah, that's right. And
I want to touch on a mineral right now.
Can I just say something about vitamin D?
Are you in love with vitamin D? Are you? Okay, sure.
Yeah, all I'm saying is vitamin D deficiency is one of the most common nutrient deficiencies in the world.
Yes.
A massive amount of the Western world. And if you look at, I only had the figures for the US, 42% of people are deficient in vitamin D, which rises to 82% when you're talking in terms of black people, and 70% when you're talking about Hispanic people. So, you know, you've got to bear in mind the color of your skin matters when you're talking about vitamin D.
Mm-hmm. You see, I'm fortunate. I've got fair skin and I love the sun.
They're not a very good combination, are they?
No, but I've learned over the years how to protect my skin because I grew up in the sun, so I needed to learn very quickly.
And just one other thing about vitamin D, toxicity. Now, with these fat-soluble vitamins, A, D, E, and K, yeah, you can. I mean, the vitamin D is probably the worst one if you were thinking about going over the top. And the idea is not to go over the top. The idea is to mix and match your diet, as I mentioned. But if you start getting things like this, nausea, vomiting, muscle weakness, confusion, loss of appetite, dehydration, and kidney stones, it could be that you're having too much vitamin D. But also, if you dehydrated, you'd have these same symptoms as well. So I think the key with symptoms is if you have something that's not quite right, investigate it early. Yeah, without going into it in too much depth. So that's all I really want to say about vitamin D. Crucial. So you wanted to mention about minerals. Have you forgotten now?
No. So I wanted to just talk about magnesium, and in particular Aquaman magnesium, which is derived from the sea. All right, and so magnesium is, look, it's great for the body in terms of muscle sensitivity, muscle stiffness, your neuromuscular function, your heart function. Or your heart rhythm, I should say. So heart function, also your blood, it helps regulate your blood pressure. But if you're taking something like a magnesium Aquaman MG, which is basically a fish or sea derived magnesium, not fish, but sea derived, what they do is they get it from the Irish Sea, which apparently is very pristine, very clean water. And it's got 72 other trace elements in it, which makes it more potent in your body, and it's more readily absorbed into your system as well. So which means it has a high bioactivity in the body. Yeah. But magnesium, again, it's great for your neuromuscular function, your muscles, your heart, blood pressure, all of these things. And I bring up magnesium Aquaman because that's the type of magnesium that our products are sourced from as well. So it's just some additional information for you in terms of sources of magnesium. That's
okay.
it, really.
And obviously, I would imagine that magnesium is a macro mineral, whereas a lot of other things we have a smaller ones, micro minerals, because there's so little it needs. Magnesium is one of those ones where you need quite a lot.
Yeah.
So I've just got to cover, for me, just got to cover two more vitamins. We've dealt with A and D, and we've got to speak about E and K. So let's talk about vitamin E. It'll take about 2 minutes at the most. Vitamin E is obviously found in a variety of foods. How I get my vitamin E is olive oil, nuts and seeds. That's how I get mine. Okay, very, very simple. Other ways of getting it, I don't use these other ways, but that's wheat germ you get from cereals, plant oils such as rapeseed, sunflower, soya. So I don't eat those.
No, you don't want to eat. You don't want to go near vegetable oils in any case.
That's not something, but I'm giving you the information.
Unless it's an olive.
Yeah, it's olive oil.
Yeah.
Olive oil. I use extra virgin olive oil to eat. I don't cook with it. I eat with it. Yeah, olive oil is I cook with olive oil.
Yeah, you got cooking olive oil. That's different. That's not that's
right.
whole press or extra virgin. But yeah.
So when they talk about the Mediterranean diet, that's basically what they're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, because also eggs is in there as well. Vitamin E. Vitamin E is also you got sourced from eggs as well.
Yeah.
So again, eggs.
You don't need vitamin E every day. It's stored. If you don't use it, it's stored and then it gets used. So very, very important that you know that. So you haven't got to eat nuts and seeds every day. You haven't got to eat extra virgin olive oil every day. But it can help. But you don't want to go again. You don't want to go over the top. You don't need, big amounts of it. And your diet should provide what you need. And then you move on to vitamin K, which is in size and requirements is probably about the same. And vitamin K, we're talking about vitamin K2, and that's a group of vitamins that the body needs for blood clotting. Right, so very important. It helps wounds to heal, and it may also keep bones healthy. So again,
it's actually essential in bone metabolism.
Yeah.
So that's essential. It's so that it is definitely going to have a factor in terms of keeping your bones healthy.
And how will we get it? It's green leafy vegetables again. Okay. Broccoli, spinach, things like that. I can't eat too much broccoli and spinach because of the iron content. I do eat broccoli, but not spinach. I was actually warned off beef and spinach. I went, well, I don't mind, knocking out the spinach, but I'm still going to have beef once a week. And it seems to work, so it's not too bad. And the other two ways, again, cereal grains, vegetable oils. We've said personally, this is between us. We don't like using vegetable oils. Simple as. And also the small amounts of meat and dairy have got vitamin K2 in it as well. So you can pick it up in other ways.
There's actually quite a lot of vegetables from where you can get vitamin K.
Yeah.
My favorite nut is Brussels sprouts.
I them at Christmas.
I can't stand that stuff. Cauliflower.
You do get used to them though.
No,
when you eat them for the first time, they're the most disgusting things you could ever eat. However, you just train your taste buds, and then they become your friend. But you can get most things from a varied and a balanced diet. And with this A, D, E, and K, they're all stored if not needed at that time. And a lot of these, I'd say vitamin D is a little bit different, but all the rest you don't need every day. So with that, I think that does the vitamins. So we've finished with vitamins.
I'm going to just talk about manganese bisglycinate chelate. So it's a chelate.
Oh yeah, I heard about that one.
Manganese, yeah, you heard about that in your nightmares, right? So it's supposed to it helps with healthy skin and bones and cartilage formation. So your ligaments, your tendons, your muscles, all of that kind of stuff. Okay. Also improves glucose tolerance in the body, which means that it helps with the metabolization of fats and carbohydrates as well, and keeps your blood sugar levels stabilized. and calcium absorption. So manganese, very, 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 very important. Then zinc biglycinate chelate, which is a type of zinc that is really well tolerated and absorbed by the body. All right, so its bioavailability is very high. It's bound to a glycine, which means that it doesn't end up competing against other minerals for absorption, which is the reason why it's highly absorbed or high ratio of bioavailability. And it helps to defend against viruses, bacteria. So it helps with your immune system, boosting your immune system, and also supports protein production as well in the body. And it helps the body to make DNA. And then one of the things that I was impacted by from COVID, when I first got COVID, was my lack of smell and taste.
Oh,
and,
that really helps with that.
So zinc is very important in helping promote smell and taste in the body as well. Yeah.
Mm.
And then also another one, last one, selenium. And it's also because you find this in eggs. Okay. It has a role in the reproduction process. So, making babies, production of DNA, and protecting the body from infection.
Babies.
And it combines with proteins to create antioxidants in the body. So it helps to protect the body as well. So yeah, selenium, very underrated mineral, that is. Not many people think about selenium when they need to take minerals and vitamins and stuff, but it helps with reproduction and DNA production. So that is important in itself. Even if you're not planning on having babies anytime soon, it's just, if it's helping with reproduction, it means it's good for your body because it's giving your body life. And Rosie had a concern about eating liver. She says we can't eat liver during pregnancy though. So I don't know if Rosie's having any plans of having babies in the near future, but that can be true. And but nevertheless, that's only 9 months in some people's lives. I'm sure they can eat liver around that. But thanks for that heads up though, Rosie. Appreciate that.
Oh, beta carotene. Well, I know we're going to talk about on next week.
We're going to be talking about beta glucans next week.
Oh yeah, as well. Yeah, but beta carotene, you shouldn't take a beta carotene supplement if you're a smoker.
Okay, why is that?
Because it makes it worse. Just if you get lung cancer,
of the nicotine,
it aggravates it even more.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So again, important. I mean, personally, I'll give up smoking, but if you're not, and I know a lot of people don't, you just got to be careful. You got to do a little bit of research yourself, because you don't want to aggravate the situation even more than it is.
And also, unfortunately, the thing is that there's so many underlying. This is one of the things with nutrition, is that there's so many factors related to how we keep our bodies healthy. There's so many moving parts, because if you open up the body, you cut the body open, you look inside, there's literally we've got approximately 50 trillion cells in our body, and if you to open up the body, it would be kind of like galaxies within galaxies within galaxies. Yeah, it would be like looking at the stars in terms of what's going on there. There's just so many individual. We're an ecosystem in our cells. Our body inside is an ecosystem. So without getting too much into it and trying to read too much into what's what in the zoo and all this kind of stuff, have the general knowledge like what we're sharing with you, and then just when you feel that there might be something that's not 100% right, go do a little bit of research for yourself. Just take that accountability and responsibility, which again, I know most people don't have the energy to do. Take accountability, what you talking about, Warren? Take responsibility. But it's important. It's our health at the end of the day. We've got to do something about it, right? Otherwise, how effective and productive are we going to be in our lives if we're not looking after our health? Because we can't run away from this. And I'm sure many people have heard that before. You carry your body wherever you go with you. So why not look after your body? so that the vessel that you're playing this game in can actually do something and is productive, can think clearly, can move effectively. So just be cognizant of this, and just be cognizant of what we share with you and what you see out there in terms of what nutrients we should be taking, supplementation we should be using, especially as we move beyond 40. This is something that I found was significantly impacting my life, was the fact that I was taking vitamins and minerals, but I was peeing out half the stuff, because I could smell it in my urine. If I sweated, it was coming out of my body. So it wasn't absorbed properly into my body. And and when I realized, I found out why and what was going on, and that was because of chronic inflammation, I took care of it. Fortunately, I had the tool to take care of it, so I did it, and then that changed everything for me. But I didn't have to get anal about it. I didn't have to go overboard about it and start measuring everything and working out exactly what I'm eating and how much there and how much there. No, I just play the game, and I eat healthy stuff generally, but every once in a while, I like to enjoy myself. Sometimes it's a little bit more frequently than once in a while. But
as I say, that's my favorite thing is cheats. But
that's what we're here for, right? To enjoy life, the spice of life. So enjoy the spice of life, but also when you're in your home, make sure that what you're eating in your home is conducive to your health. That's the way I look at it. I don't like to keep things in my pantry that are unhealthy. I keep healthy stuff in my pantry. And then once in a while, I bring something home that stays in the fridge or out on the counter. If it doesn't last beyond that, it doesn't last. You understand? You with me? So it's not like I'm having sweets and sugary stuff in my home all the time. I don't want that, because there's too much temptation in that. So only thing you can control is what's in your kitchen and what's in your pantry. Take control of it. It's a simple thing, very simple, huh? And then
I think because of what we're covering in last week and this week and probably next week, it may sound a little bit complicated, but there is a reason why we're doing this, and then we'll talk about it next week. And you can simplify all of this so that you don't have to take any brain power during your week. And the reason being, you can imagine, let's take a woman or women. Okay, I don't want to talk about blokes, but let's talk about women. Okay, because they work harder than us anyway. It's the fact you take a busy mum. Okay, what's the number one thing that she's concerned about? Looking after her child, if she has children. Okay, think of a busy woman executive, having to make lots of big decisions at work and maybe bringing home work. They ain't got time to research all this stuff. I was going to say crap then, but I didn't mean it like that.
You did say it.
But what I'm saying is, they haven't got time to do all this, and that's why sometimes you need help. And that's what we'll talk about next week as well. So with that, I mean, have you got anything else you want to say at all, Warren?
No, I did my soapbox bit, thanks.
Soapbox. Yeah. So bottom line is, this is all very simple. I know it sounds a little bit complicated, but it is.
But it's like anything in life. When you're not familiar with it, it's complicated in the beginning.
Yeah.
Learning how to ride a bicycle is complicated in the beginning. Learning how to swim is complicated in the beginning. Learning how to eat is complicated in the beginning. But eventually you get used to how to do it with a fork and a spoon or whatever, with your hands.
You're supposed to use a knife and fork.
Yeah. I mean, no, but when you're learning how to eat in the beginning, you're eating with your hands. Like a big plastic spoon, and it goes in your eye, and then it's on your head, and all kinds of places like that. It takes a lot to get used and comfortable and easy to be able to do that. And then once you just pay more attention to something, it becomes easier to understand. That's all it is. It's the level of attention we pay to certain things in our lives. A mother or an executive, a lady that's an executive and a mother, oh man, I have so much respect for them, because they have so much going on in their heads and their hearts, that in order to keep track of everything, men, it's easy. Men, we kind of compartmentalize things, and then we just forget about stuff as and when we can. For ladies, they can't. For ladies, it's like it's everywhere, here, there, and all over the place. And I respect women that are executives that have children, especially that are bringing up children by themselves. So you want an easy solution. You want something that's going to be a solution in a box. It's going to help you to actually have everything you need to have. And we're going to speak about that next week.
Absolutely. So with that, we're going to go and do our thing, whatever that thing may be. Are you seeing clients today?
I am indeed. I have, and I am still. Yeah.
And I go off and do my football later. So
a few interesting conversations with business conversations in South Africa coming up now. So
yeah, I've got to do some conversations as well. So have a great week, everyone, and we'll be back next week with the last part 3 of our subject, which is obviously uncovering about vitamins and and minerals and things like that. So so with that, have a great week. Speak to you next week.
Have a fantastic week, and remember, push that share button, push the love button. Okay, because more people need to see this message, whether it's directly or indirectly through you. All right, and send us your feedback. We'd love to hear your feedback on what your experiences have been thus far, and what insights you take away from this video. Okay.
Absolutely. See you later, everyone.
Arrivederci.
Bye-bye.